LogRhythm's Netmon Freemium delivers real-time network visibility to quickly identify emerging threats in your IT environment. Netmon Freemium is a free, commercial-grade network forensics and traffic analytics solution. You can use Netmon Freemium's powerful capabilities to search against all observed network traffic, identify abnormal traffic patterns and application usage, and quickly analyze full packet captures. Take the first step towards real-time network visibility. Visit logRhythm.com/freemium to learn more and download it today. Make sure your team is prepared to fight off the latest cybersecurity threat. IT Pro TV is the resource to keep you and your IT team skills up to date. You can stream IT Pro TV's courses live and on demand worldwide, so there's no need to send staff to off-site training. Their team solution provides access to a supervisor portal for full control over your team's training schedule and group analytics. Go to itpro.tv/securityweekly and use the code SW30 to try it free for 7 days and receive 30% off your monthly membership for the lifetime of your active subscription. To learn more about IT Pro TV's team solution, sign up for a free demo of their supervisor portal. NetSparker, the developers of desktop and cloud-based web application security scanners that enable you to automatically identify vulnerabilities in your web applications and web services. NetSparker scanners employ a unique and dead-accurate vulnerability scanning engine that automatically verifies vulnerabilities with their proof of concept. For more information, visit them on the web at netsparker.com or email at contact@netsparker.com. Welcome back, everyone, to Paul's Security Weekly. I've got the cast and crew here in studio and on the lines via Skype. And of course, as if the holidays weren't exciting enough. I mean,
magical, even.
It's magical. There's Santa. We just had our Christmas party. We ate
Santa.
food and drank beer. Jack is dressed as Santa.
Jack is being merry.
I mean, the holidays are just an exciting time. To add to that excitement, those that have tuned into the show or followed Ed Skoudis' work know that Ed and his team at Counter Hack Challenges releases the Holiday Hack Challenge. Ed is kind enough to come on the show and announce this year's Holiday Hack Challenge. So, Ed, welcome back to Paul's Security Weekly.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you as well, Ed. And I know last time you were on, we were talking about your office, and we were talking about that, just before the segment started. But the focus of today's conversation is really getting into some of the details and information surrounding the Holiday Hack Challenge, which it's exciting for me because it's such an awesome give back to the community. And that's one of the things that Ed, very early on in my career, instilled on me and said, you got to give back to the community. And he's like, Paul, once you do, everything else falls into line. And now here's Ed. We do the show, the podcast, and now here's Ed basically giving all these challenges out to the community that are freely available that you can use to security training and education, which is going to be one of our topics that we talk about, and use that to enhance your skills and get some real world training really in a contained environment, so to speak. We talked about containers briefly too. So Ed, why don't you kind of give us a little introduction of the Holiday Hack Challenge and some of the things you're working on, and like when is it going live? Is it live? How do we get it?
It is live, actually. We launched about 34 minutes ago. And we've been working on this one for over a year, and it's exciting. I mean, I tell you, the team has been working so hard. I'm so proud of these guys. Artists, musicians, developers, game designers, challenge designers. I think this is our best one ever. I mean, it's got a deep, rich story. It kind of tells the backstory of the North Pole. It's got amazing hacking challenges. It's got, the music is phenomenal. So we just released the soundtrack, and you can download the soundtrack for free right now. You go to holidayhackchallenge.com, and there's a thing there that says free album. So you know who we got to do the music this year, huh?
No. Does Josh Wright play guitar? Please tell me Josh Wright plays guitar.
That's next year, 2018.
Okay.
But 2017, we've got Dual Core.
Nice.
We've got Keith Myers, and we've got Count Ninjala. The three guys. It's amazing. The music is so good. I'm really happy about that. But you got to check it out, holidayhackchallenge.com. It's all free. We run it open to everybody. We usually get about 10,000 people around the world that play this.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we're hoping that we'll get more than 10,000 this year. And I thank you for your help in getting the message out to folks. We do this as a gift, really, to the community. I've been working on Holiday Hack Challenges now for 16 years. Starting about 7 or 8 years ago, some friends started to help me, and then more and more friends started to help me. And now there's probably over 20 to 25 people that work on crafting this thing, this storyline. Every year we release essentially a new Christmas world for people to hack into and people to do data analysis. I mean, it's not just offensive. There's a lot of that, but there's also data analysis. There's cyber defense oriented things. And it's fun. It's all put in a fun story.
No, Ed, I want to stop you right there because I think there's people listening now that are like, well, they could be almost like intimidated. Like, well, how do I participate in this challenge? Like, this sounds really like complicated. Like, what? Like, take someone through like how they get engaged with this challenge and kind of help them overcome some of their fears where they may be like, I don't know if it's quite for me.
Yeah, so we design it so that there's some really simple, straightforward challenges. Also, there's some really complex challenges, and they're kind of easy to identify. We build it in such a way that the first challenges you'll see are the easier ones, and then they get more and more complex. We actually build it with the hope that adults will play, but they'll also have their children involved, and high school kids or even younger, elementary school kids. There are kids as young as 6 years old that play this. We have a video game component, and you work your way through the video game, retrieving assets and so forth, and you have to reconstruct something. This year, what has happened is there are giant snowballs that are falling down the mountain of the North Pole, and they're smashing into things, and you have to figure out who is throwing those snowballs, why they're throwing those snowballs, and you have to redirect the snowballs so they have minimal impacts to the elves. And as you work your way through this, you'll learn that there was just a terrible disaster just a week ago. A great interdimensional tornado hit the North Pole. And it took this book. The elves have this special book. They call it the Great Book. It is like a relic that they have. And it shredded the Great Book, and it put pages of the Great Book all over the North Pole and beyond. So what you got to do is you got to hack into these systems, and there's different levels of challenges. Some of them are really easy, some of them are really hard. You hack into the systems and you retrieve the pages of the Great Book. And as you do, they're all put into your stocking. Your stocking is sort of the inventory of all of your achievements. But we designed it so that even if you're brand new to information security, you've never hacked anything in your life, you can get into this. You could start playing. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but over the last week or so, actually about 2 weeks, we've been posting blog posts to Sans Pen Test blog. All of those blog posts are hints for all the challenges.
So is this like a VM that I download or a website that I visit or a combination thereof?
It's all on the website.
Okay.
So everything happens within your browser.
Okay.
So in your browser, you go there. There's a video game. It's a 3D physics puzzler where you have to put little objects on the screen and the giant snowballs bounce through them. It's really cool. And then as you do that, you open up things. There's also little terminals that are distributed throughout the environment. If you click on a terminal window, boom, it pops up a terminal inside your browser, and then you type things and you can hack systems that way. So you don't need to bring any tools.
You like create a virtual environment for the player inside of your web browser, essentially.
Yep. And you know what we use for it? Docker. So
yeah. Of course.
Yep, it's all containers. It's all containers. Containers and containers. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, yeah, so, what have you, and one of my topics that I plan to speak about next year is kind of some of my journeys with Docker and containers and the newer kind of DevOps environment.
Yeah.
What are some of the lessons learned that you have learned doing this all inside of containers and Docker?
Oh, well, the thing that's hard is to make sure we give you enough access within Docker to do what you need to do without giving you total control so you can start squishing other players.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. And the team's done quite well with that, knock on wood, in setting that up. Also, obviously we don't want to give you root or anything like that. That would cause problems. But we want to give you shell access. We're also, in addition to using Docker, we've got some restricted shells and things in that. And you have to do some limited escapes of restricted shells. We also are using Google Compute a lot for this. And Google very graciously donated some Google Compute time for us to run this thing, and gave us, of course, permission to do it on a worldwide basis. So we're super thankful for that donation that Google gave us.
So players are essentially executing commands within a container in a contained environment.
That's right.
I mean, that kind of speaks to some of the security controls that we can build into this infrastructure.
Yep. And we tried to build those security controls in, while at the same time having vulnerabilities there that you could exploit, but exploit it in a fashion where it doesn't blow up the game.
And all of this is going to stay up even though 10,000 hackers are going to come at it.
That's the idea.
That's the challenge. I mean, the challenge is not just on the user, but there's a huge challenge on you, yourself, and your team to make sure that it withstands 10,000 hackers playing this game.
I'd say it's probably had a healthy dose of Viagra, but I can hardly contain myself.
Yeah.
So the team behind this, I mean, from the design and development team, they're fantastic, but also the operations team. These folks work so hard. And I want to point out, because Jason Blanchard told me that I had to point this out. Jason from marketing.
He's in marketing. Yeah, I've heard that.
But Jason said, make sure that you say that the people who built this are the same people who work on the SANS pen test curriculum, writing the labs, writing the challenges there. We take a lot of lessons that we learn from the SANS labs and use them in Holiday Hack. We use a lot of stuff in Holiday Hack, new technologies and such, that we then port into SANS labs and into NetWars and into CyberCity. I mean, we're constantly experimenting with these new technologies and flowing them into the different offerings we have. SANS classes, of course, NetWars, CyberCity, capture the flag events, and then the big, sort of thing that we do each year for the community is Holiday Hack.
So suffice it to say, if you are playing Holiday Hack Challenge and you're having fun and you like what you see and you're challenged, that's kind of a sneak preview as to some of the curriculum that you would see in some of your other offerings, correct?
Yeah, they're directly related to each other. And we hope people learn a whole lot just doing Holiday Hack Challenge. I mean, if you just do that, you get a whole bunch. There's also, I should point this out, there are hints, not only at our blog, but within Holiday Hack Challenge itself. There are a series of elves that you encounter as you work your way through the challenges, and they give you hints. You can ignore their hints and try to do it on your own, but we want you to take hints. The reason we build this is to help people learn. So we try to be as generous as we can with the hints. Also, these elves have Twitter handles that are included as you read the storyline. You can see the Twitter handles of the elves, and they will give hints periodically via Twitter too. So you've got the built-in hints that comes via chat with the elves. You've got the hints that come from the blog postings that we've done. And then we've got these Twitter feeds that will also include additional hints if we see people getting stuck with certain things. But it is fun. I mean, Sam the Snowman, he's the one that starts the whole thing out. And you see Sam the Snowman and he tells you these giant snowballs are causing a big problem and you got to help us find who's done it. Now, there's a series of 10 questions at the end. And the questions go from the easiest to the hardest. And you have to work your way through each of those 10 questions. We accept partial answers. People email their answers to us, and we go through every single answer that they send and send a response back to them. But we go through all the answers. And even if you're just partially correct, that's fine. We want people to send stuff into us and to learn. It also has a lot of integration with Twitter, not just in the hints. But there's several dozen achievements you can get as you bounce the snowballs into different things and so forth. And there's automatic a Twitter thing, a button where you can just tweet your recent achievement, and it automatically goes into Twitter and does that for you. So we're looking forward to seeing people unlock various things. Like I said, we've been working on this for over a year, and tonight's the night. The folks in the secret room right over there were just saying it feels like, I mean, we just gave birth. Now, I don't know what it feels like to give birth. That's what they said.
You look really good for having given birth.
You're I'm exhausted. The guys, they've been working so hard. I've been working so hard. I haven't been sleeping much. But I'm really proud of this team.
So Ed, I analyze a lot of people's kind of business propositions, right? And one of the things is they're like, well, this product is for everyone. Your Holiday Hack Challenge, if I've never done a challenge before, or I'm an experienced security professional, should they start with this year's Holiday Hack Challenge?
Absolutely.
Or are there a class of people that maybe should go do some other things before they start this hack challenge? Like who should approach this hack challenge and help them overcome some of their barriers to entry?
So we designed the challenges really for everyone. I mean, there are challenges in there so that if you're brand new to this space, you will be able to figure out how to do it. Remember, go to the blog posts. The blog posts kind of walk you through step by step on how to do certain things there. So this is designed for anybody that is interested in information security and wants to get some hands-on keyboard skills. Even if you don't have hands-on keyboard skills, you can start with this. That said, if you're a professional penetration tester, I mean, one of the best in the world, we've got challenges for you too. I mean, all the way at the end, they're going to be in our deeper levels and such. But we wanted to make it broadly approachable. And my favorite thing, and this has happened every year for the last couple of years, is when people play these challenges and they have their kids involved. So what they'll do is they'll have the kids, like oftentimes they're sitting in their jammies and you can see a Christmas tree or something behind them, and they're in there and they're playing the video game, retrieving the assets, like things like packet captures and files and stuff like that, and then giving them to mom or dad or big brother, big sister.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
And so and it lights up. It's like, oh, I played the video game and got this stuff. I hand it off to my mom. My mom shows me how we can use that in security and in hacking things. So now we have kids as young as 6 that are involved with this, and it's really cool. So it is for everybody. We purposely build it so that everybody can get something out of it.
Yeah, and that's really been the challenge for you, Ed, and that's a significant challenge, is to build something that appeals to all those different people that want to be interested in our field, and that's something I personally, knowing for some time, that you've kind of worked on for quite a number of years to build to this point.
Well, thank you for that, Paul. I tell you, I've long said this. It's easy to build easy challenges. It's actually easy to build hard challenges. The thing that's hard is building a range of challenges that appeals to a large number of people, especially those in the middle, so that they feel that they've accomplished something. And my hat's off, literally, my hat's off to the team of challenge builders that we had this year. Josh Wright headed up that team. You guys know Josh very well. He's been on the show many times. Chris Davis developed a lot of the challenges as well. Jeff McJunkin, you guys know Jeff. He's on the show. He's developed a lot of the challenges. Moses Hernandez, not a counter hack guy, but he's a SANS instructor. He designed one of the challenges, one of the deepest ones. So there's a whole bunch of people that develop these challenges, but Josh was the one that planned them out to make sure that they go across that scope of really straightforward, easy stuff to crazy, mind-bending, complex stuff.
Yep.
How's our mutual? Hold on, Larry. Just on the tip of my brain, our good friend Ron Bowes, a mutual friend Ron Bowes, is working for you now. I love Ron. We have quite a history when he was working at the Nmap project, and then actually worked at Tenable with me for some time. So I get to. He was my coworker for some time, which was fantastic. And now he works for you at Counterhack Challenges. So how is our friend Ron? We love Ron. He's awesome.
He's fantastic. So he started on October 9th working for Counterhack full time, and he's been working on Holiday Hack exclusively through that entire span. He developed all the code that does authentication, that gives you an avatar. He implemented, there's an in-game chat system so you can chat with other players. We want the game to be social, so you can meet other people, play together and stuff like that. Ron built all of that infrastructure. And then, of course, Evan Bowes, I don't know if you know Evan, he's an amazing guy. He did a lot of our video game development.
Wait, is he related to Ron?
No, Evan Booth, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, I know Evan. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we were saying that every new employee of Counterhack has to have a last name that starts with B-O.
Yeah.
So we got Evan Booth and Ron Bowes, and so we're looking for our next hire.
There you go.
Ed Bodis.
Yeah. Sorry, Larry, you had a question.
I've spent a good amount of time working with Josh, working on the new CTF for 617, and absolutely Josh is brilliant at putting together this sort of mesh of from beginning to super challenging, and being able to flesh all of that out, and it was lots of fun. And I suspect that Josh has one up in that the quote that Josh told me was that the CTF for 617 was one of the most complex, most challenging CTF game designs that he had worked on, and now 2017 Holiday Hack Challenge has come out. I suspect that he's been one-upped.
Yeah, he one-upped himself, I think.
Agreed.
And it's a really beautiful thing. I really hope people play this and have fun. And I really want to emphasize that social aspect of this. We award prizes for people who do well on this, and the prizes go to individuals. But we want people to play as teams. I understand that there's teams, all over the world where folks will get together for the holidays for, they'll set aside a day in the office or set aside, some evening together, and they get together in a chat channel and they work on the challenges, sharing information. Sometimes people will email us and say, is it okay if I, play with somebody else and I work my way through?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, Ed. So can people play as a team or as an individual or both? And is that all cool with you?
It's all cool because it's all about learning. It's learning. It's about networking, social interactions. We want it to be fun, and we don't want to say to somebody, no, you can't do that with your team at work. I tell you, there's teams in the military, there's teams in the government. I mean, very serious agencies who take the day off and focus on Holiday Hack Challenge.
But I think that's a great team building thing to say, hey, we all work together as a team. Let's take some time and let's go solve this problem together.
Yep.
And that's kind of a benefit that I had, honestly, Ed had never considered, to say, hey, let's all get together, let's play Holiday Hack Challenge together and just see how far we can get and have fun for a day.
Yeah, and I'd argue that maybe the way that you've designed it is where it's Holiday Hack Challenge, it's not so much a challenge against other people, while it is. It's very much a challenge for yourself. It's to challenge yourself to be a better info security professional, to learn something new.
Exactly. And you know, there's constant reinforcement throughout. I mean, there's a bunch of little achievements that you can have. You're able to hack this thing, or you're able to get inside this terminal, or you're able to bounce a snowball this way. And you get all these little achievements, and they all accrue in your stocking. And then you open up and unlock hints. And again, your stocking is like, in this year's challenge, your stocking is sort of your home base where you got all the different things you're able to achieve. But we want to have that reinforcement. As you're developing your skills, things pop up on the screen saying, you just did this. That's fantastic, right? Do you want to tweet about it? Yeah, it is. It's all about learning. And, you know, some people get hyper competitive about this kind of stuff. But for those players that aren't hyper competitive, hey, that's totally cool. You know, spend an hour here or there with it. Next week, we're going to have mobile support so that you can play on your tablet or on your phone. So we built it kind of for that too. That wasn't finished today, so we pushed all the stuff that works within your browser. Chrome works wonderfully. We've also tested Firefox and some of the other stuff. But next week, we'll have mobile support too.
Ed, did you, back in the day, ever play the video game called Myst?
I did, in fact. Some people say my office looks kind of like it's from the video game Myst.
It does, actually, now that you say that. I found Myst to be more frustrating than it was kind of engaging.
Yeah.
And did you kind of get that same sense and build your environment today to be more engaging and a little less frustrating for people?
Yep, I really hear you. I remember when I first got Myst, you know, I brought it home. It's on a CD-ROM. I had a new CD-ROM.
Well, was there a predecessor to Myst, Ed, that I can't remember? Was there?
It was a sequel.
There was two that were kind of a sequel to it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it. Anyway, Myst is the one that comes to mind.
It had such hype, and I got it home and I started playing, and I remember getting frustrated with it and just saying, you know, I can't get out of this. I'm stuck. So within Holiday Hack, the way that we deal with that is we have ample hints. There's hints all over the place if you want to take them. And also the social aspects. We put a chat room in there so that as you're working on a level, you could say, hey, how are you guys doing this? And we're not going to stop anybody from telling you how they did it. I need a hint. Somebody needs a hint. Great. And we're all in there too. You know, you'll see us in the chat, so forth. I'm real Ed Skoudis. You know, we've got real Tom Hessman, real Daniel Pendolino. They're on the ops side.
Yeah, and then there's Ron.
Yep. There's Ron. I think he's
that's as far as I've gotten, Ed, as I've made it to manage to log in to go play the game, and I haven't moved past.
Hey, we're on the air. What are you doing playing a game?
Nothing. Nothing. I mean, this is very topical.
Yes, it is.
But I'm spending time chatting with some of the folks there already, and the social aspect so far is great.
Yeah, that's so cool to hear. That's so cool to hear. Have you seen the video game yet?
I have not, because I've been chatting, and I've got this thing that we do called a podcast that I've been engaged with.
Well, it's called North Pole and Beyond. That's the whole video game realm. And you know, there's this other thing. I think you guys are really this. So a couple times it's been said. In fact, Rob Lee was the first one that told me this. Rob Lee is the SANS forensics curriculum lead. And then I heard it said a couple more times at the Hackfest event that you guys were at. But they say, you know, if you're like an evil bad guy bent on world domination, the time to act is when we release Holiday Hack Challenge that same day, because all the InfoSec professionals around the world are busy doing what Larry's doing right now, looking at Holiday Hack, so they're not looking over their logs and stuff. So somebody asked me at Hackfest, are you worried that bad guys act on the day that you release Holiday Hack? And my answer was actually no, because I think the bad guys are probably playing our game too. So.
Very true.
So
Very true.
So the website is holidayhackchallenge.com.
That's right.
And one of the things that I notice is when I come to the page, like there's some stuff that I have to read. There's a video that I can watch. There's information.
I did the video.
Nice.
Yes,
nice.
and I didn't watch the video, but I'm noticing that the front screen of the video is very much the beginning feel of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the original one with Burl Ives.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know, my point is that I think some of the junior people that we try and mentor in our field tend to like go straight towards execution or like trying a bunch of stuff. And what I found is and I did this early on in my career too, like I didn't always take a step back and kind of read and consume and digest information and then kind of proceed forward.
You mean like instruction manuals?
And like I never read the manual. Like
Who reads the
somewhat of an
manual?
example, right? Or like any kind of coding challenge. Like I just want to go in and like start trying stuff. But what I realized over my career is like I need to take a step back, consume all the information, trying to put it together.
Context.
Does the challenge really help coach people into paying attention to, like, I feel like, knowing you for as long as I've known you, Ed, that like every word and every video in here contains a piece of information that I have to digest and consume in order to be successful. So does it help newer people with that mindset?
I think it does. I hope it does. Our thought is people will kind of skim over some of the stuff initially, then they'll jump into the level, start working their way, and get stuck. And they'll make some progress, right? I mean, they'll make some, but then get to a certain point where they can't go any further. And then they'll go back.
Yeah.
And they'll reread we call it the narrative, right? It's called the story in the thing itself, but they'll reread that because there's things in there that Sam the Snowman says. He's our narrator this year. And Sam the Snowman, he actually he thinks that the reader thinks he might look like a character from Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, that guy. That guy.
Anyway, so Sam the Snowman, you got to read what Sam says. You got to look at those questions. Each one of those questions, we ask you 10 questions, is very carefully worded. Also, some people might think there's typos in it. There aren't, at least as far as I can tell. It's all done very deliberately. If you look at our last couple of years, there were things that were purposely spelled a little unusually, and that was because it was a hint. For example, it was 2 years ago in the Gnome in Your Home Challenge. We said you need to show Dan your results. And it was exactly. And then I remember 3 years ago, we said it will shock your heart. And that was supposed to be use shell shock or heartbleed or both.
Right.
Yep. There's stuff like that in here too, where the wording is done in a particularly deliberate fashion as hints. So it rewards those people who are reading through it carefully and subtly.
It's interesting. It reminds me of my journey with Docker, right? Like I would go try stuff and then go back and like read stuff and be like, oh, like I really need to read and consume and digest this information before I go forward. And it was kind of that back and forth, like you're talking about, that I would implement something and go back, oh, no, I need to read and consume the details and then get enough hints to move forward. And in my case, it was Docker, but in your case, it's a holiday hack challenge.
Yep. And there's another, I had an experience like that myself. Larry Pesci did a webcast with me, what was it, 2 weeks ago, Larry, something like that?
A little bit longer than 2 weeks, but yeah, 3. Okay. It's all a blur.
Yeah, holiday hack has like consumed my life for the last 2 or 3 weeks. But anyway, so Larry did this webcast, and I was sort of the narrator, I guess. But Larry was the heart of the matter, and it was on some Bluetooth attack tools.
Yeah,
I had spent like 2 full days trying to teach myself the stuff, like 3-4 months ago, that Larry went through in 12 minutes. And it's like, Larry, where were you 3 or 4 months ago?
A phone call away, my friend.
I should have thought of it. But there's a lot of stuff like that, and I do hope Holiday Hack Challenge, if you pay careful attention and you look at it, it will help you learn on your own. But read the hints. The elves are there to give you hints. The elves are not trying to distract you or anything like that. And we even tell you which elf to talk to get specific questions. We even tell you which level you can find that elf in. And some people say, look, I don't want to play the video game. I'm not into that. My response to that is farm out the video game playing to a child then. Ask the child to play a video game for you, and then you don't have to. But
Ed, I don't have a child. Well, they're abundant in this Christmas season.
There you go. I feel like a lot of what we do in information security and certainly information technology is like discovering the hints. When you're troubleshooting a problem, typically the hints are there.
Yeah.
And when you get stuck on something, you've kind of glossed over a hint. And I've never thought of the challenge in this way, but now that you describe it tonight for me, Ed, like I feel like it helps train you to look for hints. And if you do that in your job today, like those hints are in there in your log files. Like if you look at that log entry, you might have skimmed over it. Like, go back and think about, that log entry really means that.
Or the tip is in the manual, or the thing that you need is in the manual. My wife makes fun of me all the time. She's like, "Oh, you bought that new technology thing. Where's the manual?" I'm like, "I threw that away half an hour ago."
Yeah. But like that manual said at least one or two things that, like, if you really paid attention to, you wouldn't have gotten stuck.
Those
like
are the
how to
keywords.
set the alarm on the alarm clock.
Pay attention.
Like how to set the alarm on the alarm clock, or make the VCR not blink 12.
Right. Yeah. But let's face it, gents, that those of us who are in this industry genuinely are not good at paying attention.
Who said that? Who is that?
I hear a voice.
That's a good point, Joff.
Yeah, but look, I just got to say, Ed, first of all, absolutely fabulous effort. I mean, I love what you're doing. I forwarded the URL to both my kids. I hope they play, and actually I'm trying to leverage them as talent to contribute to myself playing. And I will say that others, if you're a professional pen tester or somebody who's been in the security industry for a long time, don't turn away from this. I mean, this is quality stuff. I've done it a couple of times over the past few years. Not enough, frankly, but it's great stuff. So I really appreciate what you're doing for the industry.
Joff, that means so much to me. And it's not just me. It's this whole team here at CounterHack and all of our friends, too, that contribute to this. I don't want to take the spotlight. I want to point the spotlight on those guys and just the tremendous, tremendous work they do. I mean, you guys maybe Tom Hessman and Daniel Pendolino. They do the ops stuff, and they're super busy right now, right in the secret room next door, running all this stuff. And really, it really is a team collaborative effort. A lot of people working really hard on this, and we're really thankful that people want to give their time and attention. I mean, we have 10,000 for the last 2 years or so. I'm hoping we can get to 12 or 13,000 people this year. I'm already starting to work on next year's. I started about 4 months ago at Sands Las Vegas, working on the 2018 Holiday Hack Challenge. I've got the whole story in my brain, and I've started to share it with some of the people on the team because we're going to start building it soon. We just launched this one. We're starting the next one. Yeah.
I do have one observation, and I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but you released this on the same day of the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So either there's a bunch of people out there that are really torn as to what to do right now, or this is a great opportunity to go see Star Wars because there's a bunch of people starting the Hackfest.
Oh.
Or there's a lot of people starting the Hackfest, whatever the reverse
Or there's
is.
a lot of people playing Hackfest while at Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or they don't have the mobile version out yet.
Or there are 3 Star Wars movies and a series of apostasies which have followed in the decades since.
There is that.
Or there's a lot of depressed people about net neutrality that maybe could lift their spirits by playing Holiday Hack Challenge.
There you go.
Or wherever
dropped the
you
net
stand on the
neutrality
issue.
bomb.
Yeah.
But we're not doing news this
or
week.
celebrate.
Or
celebrate.
Or there are 6 people that are neither at Star Wars nor playing because they're on a podcast.
That's right.
That's awesome.
There is that. Yes.
There is that.
I view the whole Star Wars coincidence in timing is actually some load balancing on our part. Those people who are at Star Wars are not consuming load right now on the Hack Challenge, so that tomorrow they can consume some load. We always try to do a soft launch, and this kind of freaks people out, where, when's it going to be out? When's it going to be? We don't want to say a specific date because we will be crushed from our perspective.
Yep.
So we roll it out, and we announce it. We just did an hour ago or so, and people come. They can play though the whole holiday season. Officially, this is open for competitive practice until January 3rd. But then we'll leave it up forever. We're going to publish answers. And like, if you want to do last year's challenge, it's up right now. You can't win a prize for it, but it's still there. 15 years of challenges. They're all up all the time. So, but the competitive span on this one runs from today until January 3rd. And first place prize is a free SANS class. You take it via SANS on demand.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you award prizes and winners at.
So we read every entry that comes in, and we're looking for very specific. We want entries that are technically correct, but we're looking for things that have specific approaches that are interesting or novel, that the write-ups are particularly good. I mean, our grand prize winner, we make the official answer for the challenge. So that's what we're kind of looking for. But you get T-shirts. We have what we call honorable mentions, and these are just real good ones. And then we have super honorable mention, and those They're really, really solid.
I
Remember,
feel like that's like the winners on like Total Recall. Is that?
Yeah,
Oh no,
yeah.
that's different. Never mind.
and then we have best creative answer, best technical answer, and then the grand prize winner is just the best overall answer. And these things are all essentially hand graded. We've got a guy on the team that reads all of the answers, and then he kind of filters them out, and then has some of the rest of us read the best of the best. And then ultimately we get together and we choose and award the prize to that person.
Are there challenge coins associated with winners?
Not yet. There
Okay.
might be in the future.
I gotcha.
Jason Blanchard from marketing, he and I talked about that. We don't have them yet. Maybe 2018. Wait till you see 2018. Oh my gosh, it's going to blow your mind.
Ed, are there like what new technologies could you integrate into 2018 that you may be able to talk about that you might be thinking about for playing around with? I'm genuinely curious. Like, I feel like you've led kind of the bleeding edge technologies and all these challenges. Like, what are some of like the next generation? I hate that term, but next generation technologies that you would implement?
So for 2018, let me just, I don't want to talk about that now, no offense.
Yeah, that's
because we
fine.
just launched 2017. So for 2017, one of the cool things that we've got in this year's is data analysis and de-anonymization. Because I mean, that's been, in the press a lot lately. So you're going to get a data feed associated with Santa's servers, and you're going to have to go through that and figure out, who's doing what. And some of the data is anonymized, but it's not quite anonymized appropriately. So you'll be able to do de-anonymization and figure out who's on the naughty and nice list and stuff like that. So that was one of the big things that we added this year. Now, some people might say, well, wait, that's not very technical. Maybe not, but it is a really, really important concept, because you see these organizations who are releasing data that they think is anonymized, and yet people are still able to pierce that veil of anonymity. And we really want to make that point this year. So Josh Wright came to me, this was in about July, and said to me, I want to do something on data de-anonymization. And I'm like, really? And he really talked me into it, and it's really cool. So
Yeah, I remember Josh talking about that in some of his talks over the last couple of years about some of the de-anonymization of data and Netflix and all that stuff. So that's really cool to see, because it's a thing.
Yep, he specifically said to me, look at the Netflix thing and what people could figure out based on who was watching what. And that's, pretty serious privacy violation. So we wanted to model that kind of thing, but in the context of the North Pole. We also look at some of the biggest hacks of the previous year, biggest exploits and so forth. I'm not going to name them because you got to figure it out on your own. But some of the biggest attacks, and then the mechanism behind those attacks to give you the opportunity to do those attacks.
Oh, so there's struts involved.
I was going to say,
What you talking about?
struts couldn't be on the list.
We were hoping Ed would drop some hints, and I think we just dropped it for him.
Come on, struts is a solid
way to go, Larry.
framework. If it's a solid crap, it's a solid framework.
I opened the door, you guys walk through it. So that's all.
There you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
Well, Ed, it's always nice talking with you. It's kind of interesting. We're going to talk about one of the topics that's near and dear to your heart, the state of penetration testing. In our next segment, we're going to touch on that, and I know we talked a lot about that in the conference that you held that we were in attendance of, and so that's awesome. But we thank you for the Holiday Hack Challenge. Certainly. Enabling people to be engaged with this field is something near and dear to our hearts, and we're glad that you do this to support that. So,
well, thank you for the opportunity to tell people about it, and also I'll pass on your thanks to the team, because it's really all of their hard work.
Heck yeah.
So happy holidays, guys! Enjoy the rest of your holiday show and party, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Ed. One last quick question. Does Trevor make an appearance?
I can't say.
Oh.
You never know.
Okay.
We're trying to keep the bugs out, but
Oh,
So smash burger.
oh wait, no, what is Chip? Chip is your dog, right?
yeah, Chip's right over there.
Okay.
Chip's got Santa hat.
Does Chip have any kind of facet into the game?
We talked about it. There is a place where Chip could go in the game. Maybe we'll put him in the game next week or something.
Here
There you
comes
go.
Chip.
You can put Chip right in the game. That's fine. You just plug him right into the Matrix. It's fine.
Let me show you Chip. Here, okay.
Chip is, and he's got his festive hat on. That's wonderful.
Oh, he looks so
A
festive.
little bit higher. A little bit higher.
Yeah, I'm trying.
there you go.
Yes, Chip. Yeah, hey,
Chip's
Chip.
excited about
Good
the
boy.
holiday hack challenge.
Chip's a good dog.
My boy. Chip's my boy.
Which, for the record, Chip is available, the non-chocolate chip version, at Target, our local Target, for $150.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome.
So the website is holidayhackchallenge.com.
You got it.
Yep.
Everyone should go there
Sweet.
and play.
Go play.
Fantastic. Ed Skoudis, thank you very much for coming back on the show and telling us about this year's challenge. Very excited.
It's great to see you all again. You guys look very festive, so it's just awesome.
It was good timing. Ed, thank you again. And with that, we're going to take a short break, come back, and have a little roundtable discussion about some topics. So stay tuned.